It is finally here, Mentees. The Man of Steel hardcover from DC Comics. Today I'm going to be doing an overview of this book, so please stay tuned. And welcome back, everybody. So let's take a look at this hardcover together. And when I say hardcover, I just mean that. Hardcover. Not an omnibus, like I was expecting, or like it was once solicited to be. It's not like I've been waiting for an omnibus for the last decade or so. But it is a standard edition hardcover, meaning that the pages inside are as big as those of a standard edition trade paperback. So because of the backboard here, it looks a little bit taller, but the actual pages in there are no bigger than a trade. Here it is compared to the size of an omnibus, and I'll be doing an overview of the Batman Grant Morrison Volume 3 omnibus sometime later today. But let's focus on this. Here it is compared to the size of a deluxe edition hardcover. This is Justice League back here. So it's not as tall as that, but it is definitely as tall as a standard edition hardcover. This is Batman Last Night on Earth. However, Superman Man of Steel is thicker than that. So let's take a look at it, see the contents. And you're probably wondering why I even bought this, because I've already had mine custom bound. As a matter of fact, the very first two, big shout out to Kirk Kiefer, who moved away here from the States. The first two of these custom bound omnis that I know you've seen in my collection now, that I got from Kirk, are made up of the trade paperbacks. As a matter of fact, I think this one holds the first 3 trade paperbacks, this particular omnibus. So let's see what this collects and look at the build and the page count, of course. The first thing we want to do is take off this dust jacket. So you have a John Byrne image in the front, John Byrne image in the back, and the spine is a different color because the spine of the dust jacket has this blue color to it. I do like the way that it's the Man of Steel. Volume 1. We do have a Volume 2 solicited. Let's get this opened. So how did this all come about? Why is this regarded as one of the best reboots of Superman from fans? So first of all, let's look at this book, the dedication. The bookend pages, by the way, have an image in the front and a different image in the back, both by John Byrne. Well, it's regarded as one of the best reboots of Superman because this is the Superman that set the new status quo for Superman post-Crisis on Infinite Earths. So it was up to John Byrne, of course he's joined by his inkers and his colorist, to redo the origin of Superman, reintroduce Superman to a whole new era. So they are starting over from scratch. As a matter of fact, the first 6-issue miniseries kind of tells you the history of Superman, Clark Kent, his time in Smallville, reintroduces us to Ma and Pa Kent, reintroduces us to his high school or his sweetheart from Smallville, Lana, and then his taking on the costume, how he came about. I'll let you all read that. Many of these stories were borrowed for the animated series or even the movie. The first time he met Batman, when he's moving to Metropolis. As a matter of fact, Magpie, this character right here, makes her first appearance here. She is a character that pretty much hangs out in Gotham after this. The new appearance of a modern Lex Luthor. And of course, Lois Lane, Jimmy Olsen, Perry White, all the characters that live in Metropolis. Issue 6 actually gives us the new modern appearance of Bizarro. So after that, there's a redesign for Krypton. His parents look different. As a matter of fact, this is what his parents look like now. You may have seen some of those costumes later on in comics. But this is the beginning. This is where it all restarted. And then we kick off a new era of Superman with issue number 1. Written by John Byrne, drawn by John Byrne, and inked by the phenomenal Terry Austin. You can always tell when Terry Austin is inking Byrne because he adds so much detail to his art. Action Comics has a whole new start as well. This one is written by John Byrne, drawn by John Byrne, but it is inked by Dick Giordano. He can clean up John Byrne's artwork. So now we have Superman, we have Action Comics, and we get a third title that gets kind of a revamp, and that is Adventures of Superman, this right here. The Adventures of Superman, with issue 424, kicks off a new era for the Man of Steel. We are reintroduced to Lois Lane, her family, her sister, her mom, her dad, and how apart they really are. We're introduced to this character right here of Cat Grant, or Catherine Grant, who, as a matter of fact, it's funny, I just learned through this volume, because this volume is pretty cool, because it has an intro by John Byrne, even though it was written in 1991 for the trade paperback. It's got an intro in the back here by Marv Wolfman, Jerry Ordway, even Ray Bradbury gets an intro. But it was during Marv Wolfman's intro that we learn that Cat Grant is modeled after the inker's sister. So it kicks off with Marv Wolfman writing the story and Jerry Ordway drawing it. Eventually, Marv Wolfman steps away, I think after a year, and Jerry Ordway becomes the main plotter and artist. So this particular volume here collects the Man of Steel miniseries, all 6 issues, Superman, the ongoing series, issues 1 through 4, Action Comics 584 to 587, and Superman, the Adventures of Superman, rather, 424 to 428. And then there's profiles back here that I'll show in a little bit from the Who's Who Update 87. What's up there, Arthaza? Forgot about her character. Yeah, anyway, where was I? Phantom Stranger. There's all kinds of new meanings again, like here with the Demon, Darkseid. Actually, this is part of the Legends crossover. Look at those inks by Terry Austin, just adding so much detail. Man. That was a dream team. John Byrne, Terry Austin, just like, to me, like Jim Lee and Scott Williams. So here we have parts of the Legends crossover, and it does cross over through a few of these books, Action Comics, Adventures of Superman, and Superman. Now, do you need to read Legends? Probably not. I think you can gather what's happening here. It's the new modern appearance of the New Gods, Darkseid, of course, and all his crew up in Apocalypse. And there is a 6-issue miniseries collected in a trade paperback. I went over it through all the DC events. Now, the book retails for $49.99. It has 480 pages. Oh, this is the Bloodsport issue. Oh, man. This issue. Bloodsport's such a... he's not a character to be taken serious, but his twist, the little twist in his story, I thought was pretty heartbreaking for the time. I don't know, I think it still gets me. Let's look in the back here for extras. So as I mentioned, these were the original forwards here. You have a forward by Ray Bradbury, Marv Wolfman, Jerry Ordway writes a forward, and how it all came together. Here are the original covers to the trade paperbacks. There's all 3 trade paperbacks. There were a total of 8 of these. There's 9 of these, and then the Dark Knight over Metropolis trade paperback during that era. Here's the Who's Who. So the Who's Who is like a handbook, and they're doing an omnibus of this next year. And they tell you the original appearance of the character and the modern appearance of the character. There's Metallo, who appears in the first issue of Superman. And here is, again, the back page, the back bookend page. Now, let's talk about the binding. I'm sure you could probably tell as I was flipping through those pages, it is glued binding. So, glued binding, the paper is, it feels like the matte paper, but a little bit thinner than what I'm used to. Kind of like the paper that you would find in a comic book, like in the 80s, early 90s. That style paper. And I know a lot of people are happy with that. Me, myself, I really like the glossy paper from the Omnis, and just because it makes the artwork and the colors really stand out. A little disappointed it is, and I should have known it was going to be glued binding. And of course you all know how I've griped about the fact that it's not an omnibus. So, who is this book for? Well, I'll tell you this. If you've never read Man of Steel, if you've never read John Byrne's take on Superman, it really sets the bar high. It is, to me, this is my childhood Superman. This is what I grew up reading, and this is the character that I enjoyed and I fell in love with. You know, because he made him so much more real than what I was used to. Because before then, I've always talked about my DC starting after Crisis on Infinite Earths, and I think part of that was because Superman before then, to me, any issue that I tried out, whether it was the Silver Age or Bronze Age, like he seemed like such a character that I could not relate to. Whereas in this, they make it more about Clark Kent, who happens to be an alien and has to adjust his life that way. So I thought that was a really cool move. Eventually, Roger Stern joins Lee Simonson. We get another title called Man of Steel. We actually have a Superman Man of Steel title. And I'm sure the biggest question I'm going to get is, where does this go? How many of these do we need in order to get to the Exile Omnibus or to get to the Death and Return of Superman Omnibus? Well, if you've seen my custom bounds, those are 8 of those. So I'm thinking, honestly, to get the Exile from here, we only need 3 or 4 more at most, if they include everything. So that's the good news, right? Like, they've already scheduled. We have a solicit for Volume 2. Hopefully it doesn't get canceled. But if you've never read it, honestly, some of these trade paperbacks have been out of print for years. It is sadly as tall as those trade paperbacks, and the paper quality is maybe just a little bit better. But if you've never read it, then do yourself a favor and check it out. It's worth it. It's some of the best superheroic books, and it's John Byrne. Like, John Byrne rewrote this character and made him so much more relatable. Every one of his stories are all character driven. You just want to keep on reading. So anyway, not an omnibus, but it's finally here. The Man of Steel hardcover. Now you can purchase this book from our sponsor,
cheapgraphicnovels.com, your online home for brand new graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off the cover price. Cheap Graphic Novels prides itself on packaging your books so they arrive safely and in excellent condition, as well as prompt and helpful service. And check out their bargain bin for even greater deals up to 90% off cover price. And for you Minties, Cheap Graphic Novels is running a special promotion. If you're a first-time customer, let them know you were referred by Near Mint Condition at the checkout, and you'll receive a credit for free shipping on your next order. Now, this is only for U.S. customers. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discounts, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more.
and that was the page count of the book, the build of the book, and the contents. Let me know in the comments down below if you're picking this up, or if you were like me and you were hoping for an omnibus, and you're still hoping for an omnibus, and you're just going to pass on this in case there's an omnibus in the near future. I would love to know all those comments down below. Please don't forget to hit that like, subscribe button, ring that bell for notifications to let you know when our videos are going live. We can be found on Redbubble and Patreon, great ways to support the channel. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? We put out videos every day, sometimes two. And more importantly, please everybody stay healthy, stay safe, and much love to all of you.